The Secretary-General of NATO is an international diplomat, the chief civil servant of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The officeholder is responsible for coordinating the workings of the alliance, leading NATO's international staff, chairing the meetings of the North Atlantic Council and most major committees of the alliance, with the notable exception of the NATO Military Committee, as well as acting as NATO's spokesperson. The Secretary-General does not have a military command role. Political, military and strategic decisions ultimately rest with the member states, together with the chairman of the NATO Military Committee and the Supreme Allied Commander. The Secretary-General is one of the foremost officials of NATO. The current Secretary-General of NATO is the former Norwegian Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg, who took office on the 1st of October 2014. Stoltenberg's mission as Secretary-General was extended for another 4-year term, meaning that he will lead NATO until September 30, 2022. Article 9 of the North Atlantic Treaty requires NATO members to establish a council, on which each of them shall be represented. Accordingly, the North Atlantic Council was formed. Initially, the council consisted of NATO members' foreign ministers and met annually. In May 1950, the desire for closer coordination on a day-to-day basis led to the appointment of council deputies, permanently based in London and overseeing the workings of the organization. Deputies were given full decision-making authority within the North Atlantic Council, but their work was supplemented by occasional meetings of the NATO foreign ministers. The chairman of the deputies was given responsibility for directing the organization and its work, including all of its civilian agencies. The council deputies met for the first time on July 25, 1950, and selected Charles Spofford, the United States deputy, as their chairman. Several important organizational changes quickly followed the establishment of council deputies, most notably the establishment of a unified military command under a single Supreme Allied Commander. This unification and the growing challenges facing NATO led to rapid growth in the institutions of the organization, and in 1951, NATO was reorganized to streamline and centralize its bureaucracy. As part of the organization, the council deputies were delegated with the authority to represent their governments in all matters, including those related to defense and finance, not just foreign affairs, greatly increasing their power and importance. As the authority of the deputies increased, and the size of the organization grew, NATO established the Temporary Council Committee, chaired by W. Averell Harriman. This group established an official secretariat in Paris to command NATO's bureaucracy. The committee also recommended that the agencies of NATO needed to be strengthened and coordinate, and emphasized the need for someone other than the chairman of the North Atlantic Council to become the senior leader of the alliance. In February 1952, North Atlantic Council accordingly established the position of Secretary-General to manage all civilian agencies of the organization, control its civilian staff, and serve the North Atlantic Council. After the Lisbon Conference, the NATO states began looking for a person who could fill the role of Secretary-General. The position was first offered to Oliver Franks, the British ambassador to the United States, but he declined. Then, on March 12, 1952, the North Atlantic Council selected Hastings Ismay, a general from World War II, and Secretary of State for Commonwealth Relations in the British Cabinet, as Secretary-General. Unlike later Secretaries-General who served as chairman of the North Atlantic Council, Ismay was made the vice-chairman of the council, with Spofford continuing to serve as chairman. Ismay was selected because of his high rank in the war, and his role, at the side of Churchill, in the highest Allied councils. As both a soldier and a diplomat, he was considered uniquely qualified for the position, and enjoyed the full support of all the NATO states. Several months later, after Spofford retired from the NATO, the structure of the North Atlantic Council was changed slightly. One member of the council was selected annually as the president of the North Atlantic Council, and the Secretary-General officially became the deputy president of the council, as well as the chair of its meetings. Ismay served as Secretary-General until retiring in May 1957. After Ismay, Paul Henry Spaak, an international diplomat and former Prime Minister of Belgium, was selected as the second Secretary-General. Unlike Ismay, Spaak had no military experience, so his appointment represented a de-emphasis of the strictly military side of the Atlantic Alliance. When confirming Spaak's appointment in December 1956 during a session of the NATO Foreign Ministers, the North Atlantic Council also expanded T.